Hello everyone, welcome back to SwitchUp and to the episode where we take just a little gander at some of the games on sale at the moment to decide if there's anything we would like to add to our very small backlogs. Here's the winner of the free game from last week. Nice one, your comment was glorious. If you would like to win a free game each and every week, just leave comments down below. I'll choose someone directly and announce it in next week's sales video. Now, if you're watching this, I am actually in a tent somewhere in a colder part of the United Kingdom. So unfortunately, while there won't be any FarmUp, I do have a little awesome moment to share at the end of the video. As always, you can save yourself 5% on your eShop credit by buying your eShop credit over at switchup.gg, where you get 5% in cash back. What are the best games on sale this week? Well, my name's Mark Walker. Welcome back to SwitchUp. Now let's find out. First up, we've got NEXOMON Extinction, which actually comes in a double pack with the first NEXOMON game on Switch. These are Pokemon-like experiences, and you're getting two of the best examples of that on Switch for about £3. Not even that. This is by far the cheapest it's been, and that sale goes on all the way to the end of the month, so you've got a good bit of time. You can obviously trap, tame, and train your own monsters with the aim of becoming a Grand Master. There are 600 different Nexomon, and they fall into 9 elemental categories. I love this. I thought it was great. It was so nice to return to this style of essentially a Pokemon game, isn't it? Let's be real. Man, do you know what I'd give for like a HD 2D Pokemon? That would work, right? Like something like that. Or even get like Lizard Cube to do that hand-drawn style. There's just so many different options you could go for. It doesn't need to be generic plasticine 3D. But for this price, that is such a good purchase. If you've got kids as well, my daughter absolutely loves this, which is why it is down as the kids pick. But yeah, anyone's going to enjoy this really. As I say, that sale for NEXOMON Extinction, well, the double pack, goes on until August the 31st. Then we've got the sponsor of this episode, the delightful Discounty, which I have a review of on Switch 1, but is obviously playable on Switch 2 as well. And as you know, if you saw that review, I absolutely loved it. Now, I will say on Switch 1, there were a couple of performance issues, some minor stuttering, but it's still more than playable. The actual game itself, well, it was a delight. It's funny because someone mentioned in the comments that you get old, you complain about your day job, and then you play games that, well, they feel a lot like a day job, don't they? But actually this one I loved. So you've got your supermarket that you gradually improve and build up, and a variety of different produce that you can provide, and you'll be running promotions with posters, helping people around the town, and also trying to fight against the fact that you're obviously a huge supermarket, or, well, you might end up being one. And it has this delightful pixel art style that falls, I don't know, somewhere between Eastwood and another great game called Bloomtown. The town itself is filled with interesting inhabitants. They're genuinely quite intriguing. They have a number of different relationships that cross over. You have your little granny that comes and visits your shop every day. She says, "Hello Mark, it's a lovely day," and she toodles about. To serve customers, you have to calculate the amount that they've spent using this little calculator, and eventually you can upgrade that as well. It's just a game that is charming, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. There's also a physical available, so a big thanks to P-Cube for sponsoring this episode. Go check it out. There'll be links down in the description. Haven's an interesting game. It's 70% off until August 25th. But it's just £6.29, and it's essentially you and your lover. Well, I say you, it's not you, it's it's these two characters who are lovers who have escaped their home planet, and they're on the run. And what I liked about this is it goes from like a open world adventure to these little narrative moments between the two characters, and in that regard it's really nice at building up storyline. But outside of that, you're gliding around the planet, gradually unlocking and finding new areas and seeing what takes place with the situation that we just spoke about. And there's a combat system that requires both of those protagonists. Now, this is the same team that went on to create, was it Star Overdrive? I think that's the name of it, another that we've got a review of on the channel. But something a little different at 70% off. The sale for Haven goes on until August the 25th.
Until the last moment, then?
Until the last moment.
Now, I didn't intentionally do this, but there's 2 games with Haven in their title. This is Sun Haven, and I said to the developers and to you lot when I reviewed this one when it came out, that as soon as it was patched and fixed, then I would be talking about it, because it's an amazing Stardew Valley-like experience, and well, it's patched and fixed. It's 30% off until September the 5th. I believe, unfortunately, that's US only though. Yeah, it's US and Canada regions, but it's amazing. If you like Stardew, there's 4 big lands that you explore. There are 3 different farms that you'll tend to. It has a full storyline, 4 seasons, obviously it's kind of par for the course, but it doubles and triples down on the crafting that you can do. There is so much to unlock. Add in the fact that it has combat as well, so you can fight monsters using a variety of different weapons. You've got swords, crossbows, there's magic. It was such a shame, like I say, that it had the issues it had at launch. Go check out the review, they were big deals. It was essentially just not finished. So now that they have finished it, I can actually recommend it, and it would be great for them to get some sales because it is such a good game. Oh, and you can start your own family in this and have kids and stuff, which is quite cool, isn't it? That sale for Sun Haven, as I say, goes on until the 5th of September. Then a couple back to back, they have to be put together because it's the first and second game. You've got Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Knights. This was one of my favourite Souls, Metroid, hack and slash combinations on Switch. I thought it was great. You essentially control the guardian of this girl as they make their way together across the land, purging it of all the creatures and monsters. It's always nice in these types of games, I find, when you get to choose which boss to go and find next. Like, it's not entirely linear, even though it does start out quite that way. There's a lot of customization in terms of combat as well, with 26 different skills. A beautiful game in my opinion, really nice. So it was interesting to see how the sequel could improve over what was already great. So let's look at that next. Now, Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Knights, 60% off until September the 1st. Which takes us to Ender Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist, which is that sequel. It's just £13.64, it's a 35% reduction off of what was already a very good price. And this moves closer to the Metroidvania side. It still has that combat that you'd expect, it's still pretty visceral. And it still has that dark tone, but my goodness did the artists do themselves proud this time around. There are some areas and the colour in them is just unbelievable. Combat has seen some tweaks as well to make it more fluid. They went a little better as well in things like skills. There's actually 30 in this one. And actually the thing that I thought was the best improvement was the layout of the world. It had a much better flow to it. In a world where Silksong is finally an actual thing, this one is still worth adding to your backlog. The sale for Ender Magnolia goes on until September the 1st. It's 35% off. There's a bit of a theme going on today, isn't there? Next, we've got Vigil the Longest Night. This is a side-scrolling action title, again filled with powerful bosses, but I liked the way this had like a town area as well that you could visit. And it's all centered around a girl called Leela, or Layla. Perhaps a little less polished than the previous 2 games we've looked at, but it had a certain charm. There was something about this I quite liked. In some ways it reminded me a little of Salt and Sanctuary. A bunch of different weapons as well, and some of them, like the faster ones, you just end up slicing enemies to pieces. And those bosses, they have that kind of grotesque quality that I enjoy. At 45% off, that is the cheapest it's ever been since it came out as well, so I thought it was well worth mentioning. The sale goes on until August the 31st.
I will find my sister, free May from the darkness, and forever end this world from the longest night.
As always, you will find reviews on most of these on the channel actually, and one is Blade Chimera. That's 30% off, which is its cheapest, down to £12.31. It's going to be tough if you're like looking for a certain, or this genre of game. It's going to be a tougher episode to choose which one. And I guess that's what the full reviews are for, aren't they? To just kind of give you a little bit more. In this one, you play as Shin, who is a demon hunter. This is really a cool game. So like some of these others, you do end up having like a hub area that you then move out from. But you've got a firearm, so you've got a weapon in one hand, you've got a blade that you can use. I mean, it would be a rubbish title if you didn't. And that blade actually has its own like sentience. I had a lot of fun with this. It was a pleasant surprise when I reviewed it, and at 30% off, yeah, that is a decent price, a bargain if you will, until September the 14th. The hidden gem this week is Rift of the Necrodancer. No, not Crypt of the Necrodancer, which we all know, it's Rift, which came out to basically zero fanfare, which is not fair because it's a great game. It features Cadence, you will know her from the previous games, but this time it's more of like a... Do you remember the game Parappa the Rapper? That was a great game, wasn't it? Absolutely crazy. But Cadence goes into more of a Guitar Hero style rhythm game. But it's not just that. There are many different areas that you'll go through, different mini games, like there's a weird yoga class. There are boss fights in there, but the soundtrack is so good. I'll try and play a little bit of the trailer if I can. I'm likely to get some kind of demonetization, but demonetization be damned. Let's listen to a bit of Rift of the Necrodancer, which is 25% off until September 13th. The Space for the Unbound, one of my favourite physicals actually. I have this one physically, you can get that on PlayAsia. Oh, there's a 5% link down there if you want to save some money. This is a lovely game set in Indonesia. You follow a protagonist who has the ability to reach into the psyche, or almost go into the thought palace, shall we call it, of people to try and change their mind by uncovering what it is that ails them. It's all centered around Atma and Raya, who are a pair of high school sweethearts, but it is just so cool. It has such a cool about it. I'm trying to remember the name of, there was another game, The Friends of Ringo Ishigawa, I think it was called, that has the same kind of, I don't know, swagger that this has. And for a small indie team to create something like this, it's just great. I really recommend going and checking out my full review of it, but the sale for A Space for the Unbound goes on until September the 4th. Last up then, it wouldn't be right to mention all those Metroid-y kind of Souls games in the middle there and not mention that Salt and Sanctuary is 80% off. It's just £3.39. Now the couple that made this, I think they're a married couple, they went on to make a sequel, Salt and Sacrifice, that just didn't float people's boats. It had a few weird mechanics. It's all well and good leaving, you know, the core gameplay of the first game, but it just went a bit too far in my opinion. It had this weird like pursuing monsters across the stage mechanic that just didn't work for me at all. Salt and Sanctuary though, very much traditional 2D Dark Souls would be a good description honestly. It's £3.39 until September the 7th. Now just a couple of Savaloys this week, a couple of Fed Cooks, your Costco hot dogs, your very cheap games right by the till that you have to buy because they're £1. We've got House of the Dead Remake, which after our review of House of the Dead Remake 2, well it's like night and day really, it just controls much better than that one at the moment, that needs patching. This is 90% off until August 28th, it's £2.24, or your regional equivalent for an absolute classic. You've got The Longest 5 Minutes, which is 93% off in North America at just $2.99, not too shabby at all. And that, my friends, is almost it for the day. Now, I will say, while there's no FarmUp, I did go out onto the farm. I say farm, it's an allotment, because my youngest was like, you need to teach me to ride a bike. So I was like, alright. So I don't know if you've ever done this, right? If you ever want to get someone to ride a bike, what you have to do is, you have to like hold the handlebars of the bike and then have them put their legs kind of out to the sides and then let go and do that a few times. They kind of obviously go to one side and put their foot down just instinctively. Do that 3 or 4 or 5 times and then just put your hand behind them and push them and they will just, you can just ride a bike. It's crazy. It's worked on all of my kids so far. So here's the little guy just absolutely launching away and giving it large to his siblings.
Go on then, guys!
A nice moment. I enjoyed it a lot. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a good one. I hope my tent is not leaking wherever I am right now. And as always, thank you to all of you, our Patreons, our members. We've got a couple of new members on there. For all things Switch all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers, guys. See ya!